everybody. Welcome to tonight's Ask Sarah Live. If you've joined us before, I'm so glad to have you back again. If this is the first time, though, that you have joined us, I know that you are going to love my favorite part about all of this, which is the thoughtful, supportive, amazing community of teachers that joins in every time we have one of these discussions and really elevates the conversation. So with that in mind, I just want to remind all of you to make sure and add your ideas and your comments in the spaces below, and I can't wait to see all of those popping up. I'm seeing you show up already and am so excited for all of this. For those of you who are new to this, my name is Sarah Braun Wessling. I am a 19-year veteran of the high school English classroom. But I am also super passionate about making sure that we all get to have these discussions. So all of you get ready for 30 minutes of being engaged, of offering your feedback, the things that you do every time we get together and really make a difference to teachers. Usually when we do this, I start off with a question that you have asked me, but I want to actually turn the tables tonight, and I want to start by asking you a question, which also means you're going to have a great warm-up of getting all those comments in the spaces below. So here is my question for you tonight. We're going to talk about testing, but before we dig into it, I want you to think about a test-taking experience that you have had sometime in your school experience. So was it positive? Was it negative? Was it both of those things? Was it neither of those things? Do you know why? Can you kind of place why you had that experience? So I'm going to give you just a moment to kind of think and to start to do a little processing in those comments. And then I'm going to share an anecdote with you about a couple of my own test-taking experiences that I think can really anchor our conversation tonight. So a tiny bit of think time. I'm using that teacher wait time right now. I know teachers are supposed to use more wait time than that, but I'm gonna let you keep commenting and I'm gonna start talking just a little bit. So while you're thinking about this experience that you've had, I wanna share this anecdote with you that kind of spans over the course of 3 different test-taking experiences I had. When I was in 3rd grade, for the very first time, I took a standardized test. And I remember the night before the exam, I was so nervous. I couldn't sleep. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know if this was going to kind of like determine my fate for the rest of my life. All I knew was that my teachers had been talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. And so I knew it was really important. And when I finally was getting so frustrated with not being able to sleep, I walked out to the living room and I went to my mom, who was a teacher. She was a 4th grade teacher for 30 years. And I told her how nervous I was. And she said, "Honey, I just have one thing to say. I just want you to do your best. That's all I want. I just want you to do your best." And I think what's so important about that for my 3rd grade self is that this idea of doing your best, it was about my effort. It was about, are you willing? Sarah, go just do your best, put in the effort, try not to be nervous about it, and see what happens. All right, so that's kind of the first do your best conversation I had with my mom. Speed up to junior year in high school, 11th grade. I'm taking the ACT because I want to get into college, right? So I go and I take it for the first time. And I come out of the exam and I go home and my mom says the same thing. She asked me, she said, "Did you do your best?" And I couldn't actually answer her knowing for sure. And I said, Mom, I'm not sure if I did my best or not. And so she said, "Well, maybe you're going to want to try it again. Maybe you're going to want to take it again." And I thought about it and I thought about it. In fact, then the next testing time came up. It was maybe 3 months later and I wasn't sure if I should do it. And I asked her, I said, "Mom, should I take the ACT again?" And she said, well, if you don't think you did your best the first time, you should try to do your best this time. And so I rolled out of bed, I went, and I had a really different frame of mind when I went in there. And I did way better than I did on the first time. And I was so glad that I had taken her advice. And her advice had really kind of helped to lower the anxiety that I had. All right, so one more, speed ahead just 2 years. All right, so the end of my first semester of college, or freshman year of college. And I've taken all of my final exams for the first time. I called my mom and I said, Mom, you know, I'm done. And she said, well, what do you think? How did it go? And I said, you know, I'm actually not sure. I'm not sure that I did as well in my first semester of college as I did in my last semester of high school. And she asked me, she said, well, did you try your best? And I really had to sit with that question, and I had to hold that question because I kind of knew that I hadn't. I kind of knew that I had really been enjoying my independence, and I had been watching too much TV in the middle of the day, and I had been sleeping in too late, and I thought maybe I actually didn't have to go to all of my classes, right? And found out that doing my best means showing up all of the time. It means a sense of presence. And so when we talk tonight about this idea of testing, I just want you to hold this idea that at its core, what we want is we want to be able to ask our students, did you do your best? We need to lower their anxiety. We need to be able to offer for them the opportunities to take things more than once, to show us that they have more than one chance sometimes to do their best. And then when they realize they didn't, we're not going to shame them. We're going to say, give it another shot. Change some habits, change some behaviors, do it a little bit differently. So with